Hello people, it's Sammy, and if you're like, why do you look like a mess? It's because I am, a little bit. But if by any chance you're like, oh my god, why are you so cute? It's because I also am. Here I am today to answer all of your questions about NYU. And who better to answer all of those questions than a senior who is graduating in 5 weeks? Let's roll a clip from when I had that realization earlier during an NYU workshop about credit and debt. Anyway, thank you to everybody who submitted a question on my question box on my Instagram story. I got lots of questions about NYU in general and then a few about the dance program. And I also got a lot of questions about life in NYC. I'm going to be making a separate video answering the New York City related questions. And I'm going to be sticking to all of the NYU related questions for today. Or shall I say, for tonight. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for the best videos you've ever experienced in your life. Turn on the notification bell so that you're the first one to see whenever I post a video. Alrighty, I organized all of the questions, and first I'm gonna be talking about general education. General education. I can't speak today. I'm an exhausted NYU student, if you couldn't already tell. I'm gonna answer questions about general NYU. Then I'm going to go into detail about the dance program. Are the boys at NYU as cute as the movies make them out to be? No, never. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that the All the Boys I've Ever Loved Part 3 movie, that statement about all the boys being cute.
Is it just me, or is everyone here like 20% hotter than normal?
Yeah, at least. I mean, look at these guys.
Dang. You sure about Berkeley, LJ? I mean, NYU scores mad points in the men.
False. I said what I said. Is living in New York like the movies portray it? So related to that movie, the way that Lana Condor roams around Washington Square Park is pretty accurate, because that's definitely a staple of being an NYU student. Walking through there like you're the main character, having picnics with your friends there, getting hit by all the disrespectful skater boys. The whole subway scene is also really cute when they're putting the couch in the subway. Honestly, that's pretty accurate whenever you're moving apartments and you're just trying to move all your furniture and can't afford one of those big moving trucks. I personally look at my life like it's a movie, so to that question, I want to say yes. But at the same time, many movies don't show the non-luxurious part of living here, like when you're walking home with all your groceries and sweating, speed walking to class, sweating even more, holding up your elbows in your pepper spray constantly. That's not shown in the movies. That's very much a part of living here. But anyway, next question. What are the best dorms? Ruben. I'm kidding, that is a false statement. I lived in 3rd North, and I'll say it was a very decent freshman year experience there. I liked that there was a dining hall downstairs. It was very convenient for breakfast. I one time experienced having a rat in my dorm because I lived on the 2nd floor, not because we were dirty. We were very clean. I never actually made eye contact with the rat. Never saw it, but it was there and it left right away. Other friends at 3rd North experienced dead rats under their beds. Rats are just very much experienced in all NYU dorms, I want to say. It's just a New York thing, and especially because I'm sure the NYU dorms are old. Gramercy is a very beautiful dorm. I think it's more on the expensive side, but definitely worth it. That's more of like a 30-minute walk to campus, which can be really cute, but also very much not. I lived at Alumni for 6 weeks, and I loved it there. I think that's also one of the more expensive dorms because they have all single rooms. That was the first time that I experienced having my own room here. My view was amazing from like the 12th floor, I think. It's in such a perfect spot. It's on 3rd Avenue and 9th Street. I would recommend Alumni and Gramercy. 3rd North is good for freshman dance majors because it's the closest dorm to the dance building. How is the meal plan and dining halls? My freshman year was the only year that I had a meal plan. I went with having the smallest meal plan that I could have. It is mandatory if you live in a dorm. I did 8 meals every single week. And because on the weekends I would eat out a lot or use my groceries because I had more time to cook, I'd use the 8 meals in the 5 weekdays when I was more busy. The dining halls at NYU are amazing. In total, NYU has 14 dining halls. I think that's combining the Manhattan and Brooklyn campus. The most convenient for me was Third North, and it was very diverse. They would always switch out what they were giving. It was a buffet. Don't know. Weinstein had Chick-fil-A, but I think they just got rid of Chick-fil-A because they're homophobic. Cancelled. Weinstein also has a smoothie bar. That was in my top favorites, and I really loved Kimmel's salad bar because they had salmon. And the seating area is really cute, and they have really nice views, and it's right in front of Washington Square Park, so you could always take your food to go and go eat at the park. I forgot to mention, I would also get like $40 worth of groceries every 2 weeks. It was very minimal, and it was just so that I could meal prep my lunches. These next two questions are very similar. How's student life at NYU? What's something that you love and hate about NYU student life? Well, this is a very general question and I don't want to talk too much. In general, I've really enjoyed my student life here. Pre-pandemic, I definitely took advantage of Kimmel, which is the student center, and Bobst, and I would go and write my essays there and do all my schoolwork with a really nice view of Washington Square and the Empire State Building and the whole skyline. So that's a part of my first 2 years here that I'll always remember as a staple. The dining halls and the food were always so great. The NYU Starbucks is another staple. To this day, I have gotten dining dollars just so that I can use them at the Starbucks. It's a disease. It can't be cured. Something that I hate about student life, this is the only thing that's coming to my mind, and I'm glad. It's pretty random, but the people that I've worked at the NYU Starbucks, they've always changed, but for some reason, since my freshman year, they just seem like they hate their lives. It's very sad, and it kind of can ruin your day. As much as I want to go to that Starbucks so that I don't have to use like real money and I can just swipe my NYU card, it did ruin a lot of my days when they were just super pissed off. And that's that I wasn't even ordering like TikTok drinks, complicated orders, just ordering something normal, but you can just tell that they were always so pissed off. And on a busy day when I was trying to get to class like in 10 minutes, it just would make me really sad. At the moment, I can't think of anything else major as to why I would hate NYU, because I really don't. Is finding your classes on campus easy to navigate? I will not lie, my first few weeks, I was extremely confused, especially on like the first days of every class. My schedule would be like classroom GH 13RZ 3000. I was like, You said who? But I always would just go into the building that I knew I needed to get to and ask the security guard in the front, and they'd be like, yeah, so you're gonna go underground twice, and then you're gonna take a left, and then you're just gonna go down that big long hallway. You're gonna see some lockers, you're gonna take a right, you're gonna keep going straight all the way to the end, and then it should be like the second classroom on your left. So it was just very confusing because the buildings are huge. Like the library underground section is huge and so confusing. But because the campus is open and it's not just one big building, what I mean by open is that all of the buildings are spread out in a section of Manhattan. And so you're just walking through New York City essentially when you're going to your different classes in different buildings. I love that part because it just makes me feel like, you know, a city girl, not necessarily like a student. Financial aid, crying emoji. Financial help in general for NYU students. Receiving financial aid has to do with your parents' income. Unless you're independent and your parents do not file you on their taxes, I think that's really all I can say about that. They do offer merit scholarships that don't have to do with your FAFSA, which I know a good amount of people in my class have merit scholarships, so I guess they are generous about that. This is what I get for filming at 11:25 p.m. after a whole day of class and rehearsal. Biggest regret about NYU? Honestly, I live with no regrets, and I'm so happy that I came here. But also, because of some problematic situations, I'm also really happy that I am now leaving. Do you know what I'm saying? But no regrets, no regrets. What have been your favorite and most dreadful classes and why? So actually in my schedule and experience at NYU Tisch dance video, I go in depth about each general education credit. I also talk about all the dance academics and electives that I've taken, just everything in general. So if you want a more in-depth answer, you should definitely check out that video. But my number one favorite class was actually at Tisch, live performance video art with Max Nova. My most dreadful class was Latino pop culture. 100%. Every single essay that I wrote for that class just felt like a bunch of BS. And this was last semester, so I had some senioritis hitting, but also I just did not enjoy the class. And I thought I was gonna really enjoy that topic. My most difficult class that I've taken that I've actually enjoyed a lot, but it was a lot of reading and a lot of essays, was race, gender, and sexuality. That class is the reason why I feel confident in having conversations about those topics. And I think it's so important to take a class that has to do with any of those topics, especially at NYU, because the professors kill it in that subject. Talk about clubs, extracurricular groups, if you were in any. I never stuck to one, so I don't know much about that. Sadly, I was never in any clubs or extracurriculars. Being in dance pieces and having rehearsals to then perform every 2 months was like an extracurricular in itself. But I do get a lot of emails, and there are so many diverse clubs here. There's yoga clubs, meditation, language, if you want to learn a new language with a group of people, but not necessarily take a class for credit.
Plane, next place, no sleep, no fear. Nobody believed in me.
Have you thought about studying abroad? Yes, obviously that's like everybody's dream, but it got cancelled because of COVID. Yeah, because of COVID. I'm obviously going to be sad about that forever. You only get to do that once. To get to do that, that would require me to get a master's degree and go back to school. And I don't know if I want to do that yet. Let's move on and answer specific questions about the dance program. How many people are accepted in each class? I'm not sure how many people are accepted. I kind of want to say like 60 or 70, but my freshman year class started off as 36 people, and my graduating class is expected to be 27. So the classes are pretty small, but over time they've gotten a lot bigger. Second years are like 50 something, and I think the freshmen are like 65. So I think they're starting to open it up and accept more people. How do you manage the rigorous dance training / schedule with academics? This is related to these other two questions I got. How do you keep track of a busy schedule? Can you please show it? And what is your dance schedule like? Like I said in that other video where I go more in depth about my schedule, I talk about how my schedule has changed every single year. But right now, since it's my last semester, I only have one academic that meets once a week on Monday mornings. That class is 3 hours, and then I have the rest of the day off and we'll have night rehearsals. And then the rest of the weekdays, I have one technique class from 2 to 3:30. It varies from being contemporary or ballet. So right now my schedule is the easiest that it's ever been, and it's worked out great because I've had lots of time to revamp my website, which I'm still in the middle of doing, gather all of my materials so that I can start applying to things. To answer the first question, one way that I do keep track of my schedule and don't go completely crazy with all the dates and times is I have my giant calendar in front of my desk, which I love so much. About once a month, I will spend like 30 minutes in front of the calendar anytime I get an email with a new rehearsal time or a mandatory meeting for all the seniors. I write it down in my calendar right away. And if I'm not home, I take a screenshot of the email on my phone or I write it down in my notes. I will live by my jumbo calendar always. Is the dance minor legit? Is it comparable to the BFA or not really? I don't know much about the dance minor, but I'm assuming that it's in Steinhardt. Yeah, I'm not sure how to answer this question just because I don't know much about it, but I don't think that it would be comparable to the BFA. A minor and a major just has very different value. I hope that's not mean to say, I just don't know much about it. How much free time do you have as a dance major if you wanted to pursue a minor in another topic? It's very specific, and they do recommend either journalism or psychology to minor in with the dance schedule. The times of the classes have worked best. It is possible to minor in other things, but something to keep in mind is that you will end up paying extra money. There's physically not enough time in the dance schedule to complete all of your minor requirements because the dance major is 3 years and 2 summers squished. We take 19 credits every semester. It's crazy. In the summer sessions, you're most likely gonna end up paying extra to take classes to fulfill the requirements for your minor. Each class costs on average like $4,000. I'm sure it's extremely worth it. I was not interested in minoring in any topics that worked with our schedule. In Tisch, you're not allowed to double major or have a minor in something that's also in Tisch. It has to be something from another school. I would have loved to double major in dance and film, or get a minor in film or acting or something arts related, but it's not allowed. What classes would you recommend that aren't dance classes? Once again, please check out my other video for an in-depth explanation about all the classes that I've taken. One that I haven't mentioned that I really enjoyed that is open to anyone is called Signs of Happiness. It's one of those like famous funky NYU classes that everyone just enjoys so much. It is packed in that lecture. I learned a lot about mental health and navigating that as a student, also about my emotions and validating them, and they honestly kind of teach you how to be happy, and it works. It's not obnoxious, and the professors are the best. And I also had the most nice and understanding TA, and the workload was not too much. What's it like being a dancer in NYU? Is it super competitive and intimidating? No, not competitive and intimidating at all. Obviously, when I got here, I was really nervous and experienced major imposter syndrome, and I have become friends with everyone in my class. I've never felt any animosity between me and anyone. From what I've experienced, everyone here is so supportive, and the professors do lead the way in making that very supportive environment. That leads me to my next question: favorite and least favorite part about the program? I think that is my favorite part, how comfortable I feel messing up in dance class, embarrassing myself, because let me tell you, we have danced to the weirdest prompts together. My least favorite part of the program is that we don't take any commercial style dance classes. I want to say that that's what I expected, but they sold the program a little bit differently to my parents when they came to one of those question and answer events. They told my parents that we would occasionally take jazz and tap classes, which has never happened. But at the end of the day, this is a concert program, so I understand why. Is NYU just the way you thought it would be? I mean, I watched so many NYU related YouTube videos before coming, so I do think I knew what to expect academic wise. But since there's not a lot of information on the YouTube about the dance program, which is one of the main reasons why I do make these videos, you're welcome. The dance program is kind of different than I expected it, but also I did experience the summer program here, so that did give me some expectations that were then fulfilled. I didn't expect to become so close to everyone and to have such a love for all the people in my class. Can you talk about what your training before college was like? Hours, technique, etc. So I went to a public high school, and then after that trained at a studio for 3 to 5-ish hours a day. I was also in a competition team at that studio and would go to 3 competitions a year, and then would also perform in an end of the year showcase every year. I had 5 years of like real ballet training at that studio and Horton technique training, which I needed for the NYU audition. I also trained in commercial styles like hip hop and jazz. Pretty standard training, but a lot of people here did go to performing arts high schools and then also train at a studio after school, so everybody's training here varied. How much time do I need to be preparing before I apply? By the way, I'm from Argentina. Okay, I have a subscriber from Argentina. Argentina has entered the house. I knew that I wanted to go to NYU when I was in 8th grade, so I always had it in the back of my mind and was manifesting it. I would say that the minimum amount of training that you want to have is 3 years, and you want to have like multiple hours of training every single day. In terms of your solo for your audition, it's different for everyone, but I choreographed and practiced my solo for 2 months before my audition. Some people did it the week of, so it's different for everyone. It just depends on your confidence level, I guess. What advice would you give? I'm guessing to incoming freshmen, make the most in between your classes to really look around and enjoy your surroundings, because like I said, since it's an open campus, you really do feel like a New Yorker. You feel like you're in a movie when you're walking to your classes. Join clubs if you can. I wish that that was something that I took advantage of. And try your best to get along with your roommates, because that has so much to do with your overall experience. So something that I think helps is to meet in the middle with your roommates in terms of how you all like to live, and to be accommodating and adjusting so that everybody can find a happy medium. My last piece of advice is to fully live your life on the weekends as well. Do your homework on the weekdays. Make the most of all the money that you're spending to be here. Alrighty guys, like this video if you felt that it was helpful to you, or if you were just entertained by my beautiful voice. Comment any questions that you have about life in New York City, since I will be filming that next week. Subscribe if you haven't already, because duh. And enjoy the rest of your day or night by watching another one of my videos. Of course. Bye.